Hi there, and welcome to this week's vlog. And I find myself a little bit frustrated because, probably like I receive quite a lot of emails from different companies, organisations. You interact with them, maybe buy something on the internet, and then you keep getting emails from them trying to sell you other stuff. You can unsubscribe, but sometimes good and useful offers come through. Well, I had an email several days ago from a company. In fact, probably had two or three, and their strap line was something that really got me thinking. And the sad thing is, I've forgotten what it was exactly. It was something like, "You can do it." In other words, you, by your efforts, can achieve. And it's sometimes said, isn't it? If you believe, you can achieve. Nothing is impossible for you. I remember another long time memory when I was a little boy, and I was struggling with something, and I just said, "I can't do it." My elder sisters used to say to me, "There is no such word as can't." In other words, if you put enough effort in, you can achieve what you want. That's sometimes said, isn't it? There are lots and lots of books out there on the theme of self-help. If you help yourself, if you know how to help you achieve your goals, then you can achieve them. Another great big section on the bookshelves is DIY, do it yourself. You don't need to get some expert in, you can do it yourself. Well, I know from personal experience that certainly when it comes to DIY, I'm actually pretty hopeless. So often I need to get somebody else to do it. I realise my limitations. And it's interesting, isn't it, that we have this thought flying around society that if you put your mind to it, if you give it your all, you can achieve. There's no doubt about it that we need to commit to things we do. We need to give it our all, but sometimes it's just beyond our own capabilities. We need to admit when that is the case. I was thinking of a passage in St. Paul's letter to the Christians in Rome, where he was talking about his own struggles. He says, "I don't do the good I want to do, and I find myself doing the evil I don't want to do." In other words, however much, even the Apostle Paul, who was probably regarded as one of the greatest Christians who ever lived, greatest Christian missionary, converted from someone who was persecuted in the early church. He met with Jesus and became a follower of Christ, and dedicated his life to telling others about Jesus. He wrote much of the New Testament. We find such inspiration from his letters. And yet, even great as he was, he struggles. He realizes that he can't accomplish what he wants to accomplish or what God wants for him in his own strength. I know what good I need to do, but I can't do it often. I know the evil I need to avoid, but sometimes I fall into that. And so if the Apostle Paul himself realised that he can't do everything he wants to do in his own strength, then how much more do we? Another letter that Paul wrote to the Corinthians in his second letter, chapter 12, he talks about struggling with a certain issue, and he prayed to God, and God says, "My grace is sufficient, for my power is made known in weakness." In other words, when we find that we are weak, then we have to rely on God. We trust in God. We lean into God for his strength. And so Paul was able to write this: "When I am weak, then I am strong." And actually, when you think about it, it's only when we come to the point of admitting, of confessing our own weakness, that we then fully realize our need of God's help. Think of the Apostle Peter as a disciple, full of self, full of bravado. He said to Jesus on one occasion, "Lord, if all the other disciples let you down, I never will. I'm going to stick by you, whatever it costs." And yet Peter was the one who 3 times denied even knowing Jesus. He let Jesus down in a big way. We're told he went away, he wept bitterly at what he'd done, his own failure and weakness. But it's when he recognized that weakness that Jesus could take him and say, "Peter, I'm going to use you." He became a a leader in the early church. So through brokenness, through weakness, he was made strong in the strength which God gave him. And this ties in with something I was listening to on the radio this week on UCB, United Christian Broadcasters, UCB2. One of the presenters, Matt Brown, was interviewing a guy who was telling his story of how he was trapped by an addiction, a terrible addiction to drink and to drugs. And it's something he couldn't break out of. Even when he came to the point of trying, he tried various courses, various helps, but nothing could work. And very soon, even if he broke free for a short time, he was dragged back in. Nothing, it seemed, could set him free. And then he became a follower of Christ, and Jesus did set him free. And now he's helping others to overcome their own addictions. And he freely confessed that I couldn't, however much I tried, I couldn't do it on my own. I needed Jesus to come and set me free, to give me the strength day by day to turn away from those addictive behaviours and to live for Christ. And now he runs Alpha courses, he's involved in his local church, he's involved in ministry to help people break free from addictions. But his testimony is, it's only when I saw my own weakness, when I realised I couldn't do it, that I had to lean on Jesus. And in his strength, I was able to overcome. And that's a really important point for us all. In our Christian journey, we can't do it on our own. We have to rely on the strength that God gives us. So often over the course of my life and in ministry, I've come to the point and saying to God, God, I feel empty, I feel weak, I can't do it. I have to rely on you. And God always comes through. He gives us his strength. When I am weak, then I am strong. Thank God for that. So God bless you. Thank you so much for listening today.